Yeah, I'm Danny Hemingway. Nice to meet all of you. I'm out here in Santa Barbara, California. I'll do a quick intro on myself. I got into solar in 2013, selling solar at Sungevity. This was in the time of leases. No one was selling loans at the time, and it was a setter closer model. Maybe Dana was selling loans even in 2013. That's impressive. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think they really existed. Yeah, was one of the top reps at Sungevity, had a great run there, and I'm now working with a lot of the Sungevity guys over here at Sunlight Financial. So I've been on the sales side, did the sales rep, sales trainer, sales manager, team lead, all that whole side on the sales. So very much sales background, and have a lot of respect for what you guys are doing. It's at the end of the day, the reason that we here at Sunlight Financial have jobs. So keep rocking and rolling. Solar is awesome. And let's dive right in. I'll share my screen. And I'm a big fan of having an agenda. So I put together a pretty simple one here. I'll just confirm, first of all, you guys are seeing my screen and just a really simple August 9th training agenda. Looks like we're seeing some thumbs up. Excellent. So yeah, I thought I'd hit some of the key points here. If I'm a rep, what am I thinking about? At the end of the day, we're hoping to have as many of you guys choosing to lead with Sunlight Financial as possible. So a lot of the training is about why you might want to do that. First thing we'll start off with is Sunlight Rewards program. We just also started a current bonus, which is live through September 30th. That's going to be pretty excellent for you guys. Go over, of course, the current economic environment and the competitive landscape. I've got a spreadsheet on that. Go over the recent enhancements and updates and underwriting criteria. I should have also written in here, I guess I'll just do it right now. Q&A, I don't like necessarily having it at the end because I'll pause after each one of these sections. I do like for these to be interactive. Sometimes it's a little tricky when there's, so many people in a limited time, but I'll pause after each one of these sections and see what questions we've got. And it's always fun when we can all kind of feel like we're on a call together and I'm not just talking at everybody. So that's what we'll do. And I'll just pause there briefly. Anthony, see if there's anything you or Bo, or it sounds like Dana or some of the leaders here wanted to add on to the agenda that you don't see up there, or if this should be good.
Sure, you're going to go over it, but Dana did bring up dealer fees. So
yes, definitely. I'm including that in the competitive landscape.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
That is correct. Thank you. Anything else?
And then the rewards program as well.
Yep, that's the first one we're going to hit right here. Sunlight Rewards. Yep.
Perfect.
So let's get off to the races here. So I'm going to be jumping between a few PowerPoints. Then this is the rewards. Okay, so for some of you guys, this is a review, but it unfortunately is somewhat a little bit trickier to understand than might seem on the first try. It took me a little while to understand this. So I always like to do a recap, even for people who know it. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who don't know how this works. So this should be good for those people as well. All right. So rewards program. I mean, the really simple way to think about this is that we are the only lender out there with a rewards program. The only one. Goodleap doesn't have one. Mosaic doesn't have one. There are no other lenders out there with this. It's a complete black and white differentiator, which I love, of course. And a lot of, as Anthony said, the top reps, the Brunasso brothers, and a lot of, Cynthia, a lot of top Powur reps and reps in general are all about the rewards, because basically you're getting these bonus points. There's no cost. There's no downside, really. It's just a no-brainer. So the way it works is there are 2 earnings periods, January through June and July through December. This is really great timing because that second earnings period just started in July. And so the way it works is every NTP you get, which is the same as an M0. So when you've cleared all the steps, Powur has submitted it, it's gotten approved, notice to proceed, NTP, you guys get paid, I'm pretty sure, part of your commission at that point for M0. At that point, you get a number of points depending on which tier you are in. So for example, if you just started selling solar with Powur, you're going to start off in the silver bucket. So for the first 3 deals, each one is worth 5,000 points. You're in the silver tier. After you've sold your 3rd deal, you move into the gold bucket. Each deal is worth 10,000 points. After your 18th deal, they're worth 25,000. And once you get to 30, you're in platinum elite and you're at 50,000. Okay. So you want to try to get to 30 deals, or at least 18, before the end of December, because basically, so say you get to 18 deals on December 15th, then starting in January, you start in January earning at 25,000 instead of 5,000. So whatever tier status you achieve in the earning period is the tier level that you start at in the next earning cycle. Okay. So, it's really important. Say you're at like 16 deals and it's, I don't know, December 3rd or something like that. You really do want to get those last 2 in within the month of December so that you hit that platinum tier, because you're going to keep that platinum status for the whole next 6 months. And for example, starting from silver, you sell 18 deals. That gets you 165,000 points. However, if you start from platinum, like, pretend you achieve that platinum status starting in January, you're at platinum, you sell the same number of deals, 18 times 25,000 is 450,000. So you almost get 3x the number of points just because you started in that higher tier. So can't emphasize enough how important it is to really get into that at least platinum tier. We got, at least 20 or 30 reps who are in the platinum elite at Powur alone, maybe more like 40 or 50. So completely achievable. Plenty of reps are up there. They're earning 50,000 points. To put that in perspective, you got an iPad for 129,000. These are always shifting. I think the last time I saw there was an iPad actually for like 105,000, which was cool. MacBook Air for 250,000. So, just putting that in perspective, right? If you're in the platinum elite, it only takes you 5 deals to get a MacBook Air. It only takes you 2.5 deals to get an iPad Air. We've got reps going to Australia. That's 21 deals if you're in that platinum elite. Machu Picchu is 15 deals. We had reps go to the Super Bowl. Reps go anywhere around the world. I've got reps going their whole bachelor party, all their friends to Hawaii, all paid for on rewards points, cruises around the world. So it's not just like, oh, I've got a couple points on my credit card. It's like you're really earning pretty amazing prizes. And there are over 25,000 prizes in the rewards portal. And like I said before, there are no other lenders that provide this, and there's no cost. You just get points for what you're already doing. So it is a truly amazing program. I really wish that I had it when I was selling in the setter closer model, which is different from Powur and a lot easier to get more deals. So, I'm just saying that up front. I was doing around 22, 23 deals a month. I would have been able to go to, Australia just based on the rewards points every month. So I really wish I had something like this. And I get to see you guys though, getting all kinds of cool stuff. A lot of people also really like the, they really like the home furnishing items. I'll just pull up some of the, like there's the whirlpool, there's the drones, there's really everything you can imagine. There are barbecues, there are washing machines, all kinds of stuff. So it's funny, we advertise like the vacations and getaways and stuff, but a lot of people just end up buying refrigerators and washing machines, which is great too. So I'll just
that
pause.
Polaris is pretty cool, bro.
The Polaris is awesome. That one, you got to, if you see it, you got to snag it, because that one goes in and out of availability pretty often. The Polaris. Yeah. I get a lot of reps who are asking me where it's gone, and then it comes back and they all get it and then it goes away again. But yeah, you're right, Dana. I'll just pause there and see if anybody's, had a nice experience redeeming any rewards points on this call. I know, Anthony, I need to help you. It sounds like set up your rewards account. That I've got to say is always a bummer when somebody's sold a bunch of deals and they haven't activated their rewards account, because they're not getting credit for all those deals. I mean, you're getting commissions, which is awesome, but why not also get some, ATVs and refrigerators?
Where would we go to, or do you want to maybe go through that process real quick as to where to go?
Thank you for asking. So it's a little bit different with Powur because you guys don't log directly into the Orange portal, right? We have our own Orange portal, but right now Powur is not logging into that. It's all through Solo. And I think you guys are now transitioning onto Powur's own proprietary software here shortly.
Right. It's still, everything's still connected to like our email addresses and stuff, and our HIS and all that. Like I just got an email at 12:53 saying we got M2 on a project.
Perfect. Yeah. So after you sell your first deal that's not through your mentor's account, so a deal through your own account, you should receive an email from someone to enroll in the rewards. I know a lot of you have sold plenty of deals through Sunlight. It was a long time ago that you sold your first deal. So for those people, what we'll do is, Anthony, I'll email you, and maybe you can consolidate those people who need help, and I can retroactively enroll you guys in rewards. If you have not sold your first deal, you should, like, I think there was somebody, was it Jeff? Jeff just recently sold his first deal. I mean, I don't know if that was through a mentor or not, but when you sell a deal, your first deal that's not through a mentor, through your own account, you will receive an email from us to enroll. That will often go to spam. And so you can reach out to me and we can retroactively enroll you. Yeah. And so, Anthony, you and I can consolidate that, or whoever the right person is. Dana, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I have like 20,000 points, 25,000, something like that.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
It's tiny. But
for sure. Yeah. Let's get you even up higher into those higher tiers. So I'll pause there on the rewards, and I'm just going to pause on that screen. The most important thing to know is how those tiers work. This is really what it's all about, is the kind of the, worst case scenarios. You get to 17 deals and then December 31st comes around and you didn't get to 18, because that means you're going to start off in January at 10,000 points per deal. And you have to get all the way back up to 18 deals before you get to 25,000, where you could have just put one more deal through and then started off January at 25,000, or 30, 30 deals, you'd be at 50,000. So the tier structure is super important. I'll slim this deck down. I've got some kind of extraneous slides. I'll slim this down and share it with Anthony after the call, so you guys can all, take a second look at this. But I'll just pause there, see if there are any questions on how the tier structure works, the earnings periods, or rewards in general.
I found it pretty easy. They send you an opt-in email.
Yep.
For the rewards. You basically press 2 buttons and you're in.
That's correct.
So it's not hard
to
get the rewards. So if Anthony's struggling, I can help him.
Yeah, I think that the issue is that he got that email so long ago that I'm going to go back and generate an email for anyone who didn't get that initial email. But Tim, you're absolutely correct. It is very easy if you get that email. Yeah.
They keep sending them too every time you sell one. I wish I would have opted in sooner.
Yeah, definitely opt in as soon as you can. And that reminds me is that we do also have a current rewards bonus for you guys going on right now. So basically every NTP that you submit, so you have to both get the credit approval within these dates, August 1st and September 30th. So it has to be credit approved between that window and receive MTP or M0. It's the same thing. I'm not sure which one you guys are more familiar with in that window. So if those two apply, then you'll get an extra 5,000 points per deal. And also, after you do 5 deals within that period, you'll get a one-time bonus of 100,000 points, which is a significant amount of points. The 100,000 points will be awarded at the end of the period. So even if you get 5 deals in the next week, just be patient. We're going to do a report at the end of the period. So those 100,000 eligible people will get the rewards probably around October 5th. So just in case, don't be worried. If you sold 5 and haven't gotten your 100,000, we do that 100,000 retroactively, but we do the 5,000 as they come in. Cool. So I'll just pause there. I think there might have been another question happening at the same time that Tim was asking.
Yeah, I had a question. I'm Brad. I was just curious. I was working for another contractor before, and I don't know if this is exclusive to the Powur. I assume it sounds like it might be with other companies as well. But I had deals with the other company. Can that count towards this number or no?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you, Brad. So my recommendation there is that really the most powerful part of this whole thing is the tier status, which is a kind of like a multiplier. And so what I recommend is take your existing points you have and they do not count towards the tier qualifier. So they really only have value in that they can be spent, and whether you spend them with Powur or with the other company, it doesn't change their value. So I would just spend the existing points that you have and work on getting into the platinum or platinum elite tier now at Powur.
I had never heard about this before. Right now, I mean, so
Yeah.
I don't know. This wasn't maybe it was available, but no, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah,
So,
no, it's
and I'm not with that company. I can't really access that data, you know. But anyway, it's good.
Gotcha.
I just curious. All right.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know about the rewards program, which is a complete bummer because there's literally no downside. There's no downside at all. There's no cost. You're just getting extra money essentially for every deal that you sell. So yeah, I'm always really happy to present on this. It's a huge value to you guys that no other lender offers. Yeah. So thanks for the question, Brad and Tim. I'll just pause there, see if there are any other questions. And then of course we've got other topics we want to get onto, but you know, rewards are awesome. We love rewards. So I'll just pause there for a second, see if anybody has anything else. All right. Sounds like we're good. So let's go to the next one. So current economic environment and the competitive landscape, right? I'll start off, I mean, just a recap, right? Everyone knows this, right? So we've got rising rates in two senses. We've got inflation rates going up. In a lot of ways, that's good for solar, right? Here's a chart of the utility companies. On average, electricity rates in the US have gone up 13% year over year. That's great news for us in the solar industry. Solar continues to be much better than the utility company. So that's awesome. You know, whether that's a loan with us, GoodLeap, Mosaic, whoever, solar is a better option. So inflation's up, electricity prices are up. Solar, you can lock in a fixed cost. It's an awesome industry to be in. Interest rates are also going up, as we're aware, with the Federal Reserve. Mortgage rates we've seen have just about doubled in the last 6 months, right? From around 3% to around 6%. And so that is, you know, everyone in the lending space is affected by that, all of the lenders included in us, right? So that's kind of the backdrop here. In the medium and long term, we feel extremely competitive. And so this is kind of a deeper dive you know, probably wouldn't hear unless you're on a training like this. So this maybe is kind of a nice special type of information to get into, is that our long-term strategy, I could have chosen any of the lenders to work with. I could have gone to GoodLeap, could have gone to Mosaic. One of the top reasons I came to Sunlight is I really respect our long-term thinking and vision about the industry. What I'm saying here is that we're keeping our kind of whole model is keeping the default rates in our loan portfolio as low as possible, right? And so if you think of us, you know, we're selling to capital providers. That's credit unions, that's banks. We're saying, hey, we want to get your guys' money at the lowest cost possible. That's how we compete against GoodLeap, Mosaic, all the other lenders, right? So our pitch to them is, hey, our loans default at the lowest rate in the industry. So if you give us your hundreds of millions of dollars, we will lose the least of that, right? GoodLeap, Mosaic will lose more of that money through loan defaults than we will. So give it to us at a lower rate, right? And so that is what we're seeing. And but that is a long-term strategy, right? And that is just now really starting to kick in. So you'll see here are the default rates. Peer A and Peer B are Mosaic and GoodLeap. You'll see the default rates are about double, maybe 1.5% more than our default rates. And so this is something like that, as I said, it plays out over the long term, and it's especially starting to play out in this uncertain, volatile environment. So we're starting to feel really good about this. That being said, in the short term, you know, this is a super volatile market. And so I'll switch over to the pricing here to Dana's question. Currently, we did our price increase on August 4th, and GoodLeap and Mosaic are doing theirs on August 15th, right? So for, you know, the next 6 days, I completely do not blame you guys if you sell GoodLeap and Mosaic for the next 6 days, because they haven't done their pricing increase and we did, right? So but in the long scheme of things, you know, that's 11 days, right? But right now, Mosaic does have lower dealer fees. We should be about even with GoodLeap because we were about 3 or 4% below them already. But you'll see here, the really big point that I want to highlight is our low APR products are going up somewhere between 2 and 2.75%. Okay. Compare that. And that's everything that's a 199 and below. Okay. At most going up 2.75%. Whereas GoodLeap's everything below 299 is going up 4%. Okay, that's a big difference. And just to tie that back in, you're going to see that kind of change accelerate as Goodleap has a harder time selling their loans in the open market. They sell them in what's called a securitization. Maybe some of you guys saw The Big Short. They bundle them all up into these big tranches and sell them on Wall Street. We have direct relationships with credit unions. Those relationships with the credit unions are a lot less volatile and sensitive to the rising interest rates. So this is kind of like a more advanced, deal here, but it seems like a lot of you guys have been in solar for a little while. And really the high level point here is that low default rate strategy is starting to pay off for us. And it's going to continue to pay off in this uncertain environment with rising interest rates. And you can see that because both of our top competitors are raising their rates more than we are raising our rates. And although they did it, 11 days after us, so they gave them 11 days limited advantage, that's okay. I'm just going to pause here. And so kind of the takeaway here is in the long run, we are positioned to have the lowest dealer fees, which we did have before this most recent dealer fee increase. And we will have once again after August 15th when our competitors also raise their rates. Shooting you guys totally straight, I don't blame anyone if they, sell Goodleap or Mosaic until August 15th. But then after August 15th, I would see really no reason to sell Goodleap or Mosaic, at least first look. Of course, if you fail with Sunlight, I don't blame you at all for going second look. But after August 15th, I would be surprised if there was a reason to lead with Goodleap and Mosaic, considering they'll have higher dealer fees and no rewards program, right? That's really kind of the 1-2 kicker. They'll have higher dealer fees and no rewards program. So I'm just going to pause there. Just talked a lot, got into some kind of more advanced stuff with those default rates. I'll just pause here and see if anybody has any questions.
I just had a comment, and we spoke about this at Powur World, but besides the last sale I just made a day or two ago with Joel in Texas, Mosaic was actually the cheapest, but it makes sense now because you guys bumped up. You guys were a few dollars more a month, but prior to that, the majority of my deals do go through Sunlight. And if you just build a deal, however you build it, and you just go through all the different options, 20-year, 25-year, whatever, Sunlight's consistently been the cheapest option overall. Besides, like I said, literally that one that happened this week, but okay, makes sense. But yeah, so definitely been my favorite.
Yeah, no, I thank you for chipping in there, Anthony. Yeah, go ahead, right ahead, Dana.
Yeah, I agree with that, with what Anthony just said. I've been switching to Sunlight almost exclusively because of the lower rates. I did have a question for you on line item number 4 for your APRs that are less than 1.99%. Are they going up by, let's say for the 15-year, are they going up by 2.12%? Or are they going to 2.12%?
Gotcha. Thank you for the question, Dana. I realize that this is somewhat of a confusing now that, it's funny. Just a side note, I live in the finance world, right? And then you start to think wherever you live is where everyone else lives, right? So you guys live in solar, everyone else, they're homeowners. They have other stuff. They have other jobs. I live in finance. So I look at this and it's like so easy to see, but then I've got to remind myself, you guys don't live in finance. You live in solar, so this is talking about dealer fees. So for these APRs, for APRs that are equal to or less than 199, the dealer fees are going up this amount. For us, this already happened. So any quotes that you're looking at right now, these have already happened. That's the big deal, is that so Sunlight increased August 4th, right? Goodleap and Mosaic are increasing on August 15th, right? So right now we're on somewhat of an unlevel playing field because our competitors have not yet done their increases, and their increases are actually significantly larger than our increases. And their increases apply to more products, right? So our increases were, like the most popular loans are the ones that are like 25-year 149s, 25-year 199s, that kind of stuff, the low APR stuff, right? And there is some 25-year 299 in there as well. Anyways, they are increasing more on more of their products. So everything for them that's less than 299 is going up 4%, or somewhere between 3.5% and 4% with Mosaic. I have less intel on that. Whereas us, it's just at most 2.75 on everything that's less than 199. So this is the amount that the dealer fees are going up. The APRs are staying the same. Yeah, I'll just pause there, see if that answers your question, Dana. Great. Thanks for the question. Thank you for that question. I'm sure a lot of other people had that question. So thank you. Okay, I'm just going to recap kind of what we talked about there, because this really is, we're going to get into the recent enhancements, the updates, all the stuff that's kind of short-term, good news, all that for sure. We're going to talk about that. But in terms of really, long-term strategy, this is really what the long-term strategy is about. And I think it's really one of the most interesting things to track. If you're going to, if you're planning on being in the solar industry for a long time, watching the macro trends and helping, yourself, position the people you bring in, positioning your customers, that's really a huge value, is understanding the macro trends. And so the macro trend that I'm calling out here, just to recap it, is, and this is good for everyone and for the industry as a whole, if we can keep the default rates in the solar industry loans as low as possible, that will result in dealer fees going lower and staying low. That's less risk to the capital providers, right? This money comes from banks, credit unions who are evaluating the risk of the asset class. That's why a mortgage, there's not a 26% dealer fee on a mortgage, because the risk is so low, right? Solar is seen as a lot more risky. Over time, the more that we can de-risk the solar asset class, that will result in lower prices, lower dealer fees for you guys, for your customers, for everyone. It's better, right? And so that's what we stand for in the industry, is lowering those costs over time by keeping the lowest default rates on these loans as possible. And that's what's paying off for us right now. It's taken a few years for these differences to show up, but you can see Peer A and Peer B, that's Mosaic, that's Goodleap, over 3% of their loans are defaulting. We're at 1.6. If you're a credit union, you're about to give, Goodleap or Mosaic or Sunlight $100 million, $200 million to go spend on loan, to go, give to you guys for loans. And one of them is saying, hey, we're going to lose 3.3% of your $100 million. And the other one's saying, hey, we're only going to lose 1.6. Who do you think you're going to give that $100 million to at better pricing, right? So that's what this is about. And you're seeing that directly in this pricing increase, where we are going up less than our competitors. So don't want to belabor that point, but it is a really important point, and you probably won't get that deep into the finance industry on most of your other calls, is my guess. So I like to take some time and go a little bit deeper here. All right, I'll pause there. We can move on to the next topic, but any more questions on how the default rates relate to dealer fees over time, or any questions about the rising interest rate environment? I'll just pause here.
Are those default rates, are they in direct proportion to, kind of the state of the union, what's happening with the economy?
Great point.
Less jobs, or less, not less jobs, there's more jobs, but but just kind of what's happening. Is it a mirror of what's happening in the economy?
You nailed it, Dana. And you nailed it. That's such a great point, because that really, it's like you don't see the value of your insurance until a disaster happens, right? And so basically what our strategy has been is kind of like insurance for our capital providers, is having that low default rate. So you don't see these show up until years later, right? So what this 2018 vintage means is that all the loans that we made in 2018, here are the default rates. Peer A, Peer B, as I said, are Mosaic and Goodleap. So these are all the loans that were made in 2018. We don't even show the numbers for 2021 because it takes a little while for loans to default. But these are 25-year loans, so, but exactly what you said. And that is exactly why we are already seeing capital providers giving us advantageous pricing compared to Goodleap and Mosaic, is that in a downturn, like what we might be looking at here, at least a shallow recession, there will be more defaults, right? In an environment where there are more defaults, you want to have your capital in a safer place. And that's what Sunlight has proved to be so far is that safer place in the solar loan industry with the lowest default rates. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Dana?
It does. It just kind of makes me think, though, in broader terms of, what's happening in the industry with the economy and where solar is headed.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a little scary, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, the good news overall is that I think I can completely understand how that can be scary. But what I always like to remember is that who are we competing against? The utility companies. And the utility companies are going up 14% year over year. So even if we go up, like all the rate increases that we're looking at, GoodLeap is the highest. It's still only 4%. 4% compared to 14%, huge win for your customers. And once they go solar, they're locked in. They avoid all future rate increases, right? So it's only scary in a vacuum. When compared to the alternative, it's very happy times to be in solar. Very happy times. Yeah. Thanks for those questions, Dana. Okay, I'm going to keep rolling here. So let's get on to the next one here. Recent enhancements and updates, right? So what I'm saying is, hey, choose sunlight, especially like really after August 15th. I'm not aware of a reason not to choose sunlight as first look because we will have the lowest pricing and we will have rewards. Until August 15th, we're about toe to toe with GoodLeap. So, it's all good either way. Mosaic is a little bit lower than us by $1 or $2, like Anthony said. So no hard feelings if you choose Mosaic for the next, few days until August 15th. After that time, though, there really will not be a reason that I'm aware of. And feel free to share a reason if you guys see one to use Mosaic when we have the lower pricing in addition to the rewards. All right, so recent enhancements and updates. Let's get into that. So we're up to $8 a watt now, okay, which is great. It used to be $7.50. Now we're up to $8. There's no cap on the amount of roofing that you can put in there, but everything is capped at $8 a watt. So, it has to all fit in $8 a watt. No matter how much roofing, everything has to be $8 per watt. Or if you've got a battery, then it's $12.50. Okay. So $12.50 with a battery, $8 with solar. All right. So we're here, we're going up with inflation. We're trying to help out with covering those larger systems. Okay, so that one's pretty simple. This is a really cool one. Reamortizations are live. So for those customers who might not be able to get their full tax credit, we're getting the thumbs up from Dana. Yeah, I agree. It's pretty exciting. We got a lot of feedback on this one. A lot of customers might not be able to get their full tax credit in the first 18 months, right? You guys I'm sure are aware after month 18, the loan reamortizes based on the outstanding balance. And the payment either stays the same, goes up, goes down, right? So it used to be that was locked in. After month 18, they were locked in. Now they can ream up to 3 times, which is probably way more than anyone needs. A lot of people probably will just need 1 or 2, but hey, up to 3 times, you can make a one-time payment of at least $1,500, and then they can reamortize that monthly payment. The customer does have to call in to that credit union and say, I want to reamortize. I made a one-time payment, last week. It has to be any time within the last 3 months. So you make a one-time payment of at least $1,500 and call up the credit union and say, hey, please reamortize me. You can do that up to 3 times. So I'll just pause there on that one because that's a pretty big one. And I could understand that there might be some questions about how that works. Got claps from Anthony on the emojis. That's fun. I didn't even know you could do that. Okay.
And just to be clear, I know I'm asking a lot of questions here tonight, but I apologize. But just to be clear, that reamortization of $1,500 is in addition to the reamortization that happens with the federal tax credit.
Correct. Yeah. So let's just do an example. That's correct, Dana. So say I'm just going to do a super rough numbers example, right? So say you have a $100,000 loan, just so it's a nice even number, $100,000 loan. And the monthly payment is $500. I'm just making this up. 100,000 loan, monthly payments, $500. That monthly payment, as you guys know, I'm sure, is assuming that, and I've got a slide on this. I'm just gonna find. So that monthly payment is assuming that the borrower is going to put their full tax credit back in before month 18, right? So this is how the payments work. So first payment is 60 days after install. And so we'll say $100,000 loan. They're assuming the monthly payment, they're assuming the federal tax credit is going to be put back in before month 18. Okay, voluntary payment must be made by this time. Okay, so if they don't put that 26, in this case, it would be 26,000, assuming that the new Senate bill and thing doesn't get passed. I really hope it does. It looks like it will. 26%, right? So that's 26,000, 26% of 100,000. If they put that back in before month 18, stays the same. Monthly payment's still $500. If they don't put it in, maybe, hey, it goes up to $650. If they put in more, maybe it goes down to $400. It used to be that whatever the monthly payment was after month 18, it was locked in. So we're saying, hey, let's just do the example that Dana just did. So say, hey, instead of your full $26,000 federal tax credit, say that customer only got back half of that, 13,000. Okay, so they put in 13,000 before month 18, and so then their monthly payment reamortizes at month 18, and it becomes $575. Right? It goes up because they don't put the full thing in. Now, say it takes them another 12 months, they get another 13 grand. They can do that. They can put that next 13 grand in and reamortize again. Now maybe they get down to 500, which was what their original payment was. Say they get another 10,000 of tax credits or whatever, some money. They can do that again in 5 months or 6 months or whenever. They can put that 10,000 down, reamortize. Maybe now their monthly payment's $400. And they can do that up to 3 times after month 18 reamortization. So it's a total of up to 4 reamortizations. I'll see if that answers your question, Dana. Thumbs up. All right, great. Richard, thumbs up as well. Excellent. Okay, other questions on the ream. I really can completely understand why there might be more questions on the ream. You know, can be kind of confusing your first time asking about this ream stuff. So I completely understand if there are any more questions here. I'm just going to pause.
Wayne here.
Hey, Wayne.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Hi. So I believe GoodLeap is already doing this.
I believe so as well.
I think the only difference between yours and theirs is theirs is $2,500 to ream, and I think you can do it a limit. There's a limitless amount of time you can do it. That's not just 3 times.
I think that you're right. So on the one hand, little slightly higher barrier to entry to ream with GoodLeap, not a huge deal. 2,500 versus 1,500, not a big deal. So it's easier to ream with us, but we're capped at 3. I see it as pretty much just us catching up to where GoodLeap was, and it's now pretty equal. I think it's very, very unlikely that a customer is going to ream more than 3 times. But for a customer who's going to ream more than 3 times, hey, go with GoodLeap if they're really set on that. But I think that's very, very unusual. Thank you for that question, though, Wayne. It's a good point.
Sure.
Question with the ream to confirm the interest rate will stay the same.
Correct.
Every time they ream. Okay.
That
It's not like they're like rerunning credit or anything crazy.
There's no rerunning of the credits. Great question, Anthony. Thank you. That's a great question. Interest rate stays the same. No credit check, nothing. All you have to do is make more than a $1,500 one-time payment and call the credit union and say, hey, I want to reamortize, and you can do that. All right. These are great questions. I'm just going to pause again and see if there are any more questions. Oh, I actually have, here's a question that somebody should have asked that I remembered. This applies to all existing customers. It's a big deal. So if you sold a customer 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it applies to those customers as well. So future, current, previous, everyone. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to keep rolling. This is a huge one for anyone who's been around for a while. I'm sure they've run into a title stipulation. For someone who hasn't been around for a while, you know, there are title stipulations. It's the most common title. It's the most common stipulation. A stip, just for anyone who doesn't know, is that they pass credit, you sign the loan docs, you've got a deal, but it's stipulated that to install this, we need to clear up some confusion about something. It might be, in this case, who is actually the owner of the home. Sometimes it's in a trust. Sometimes we can't see their name on the title. So anyways, it used to be this whole annoying thing where you'd have to go and try to find, some deed document, a quitclaim deed, a bargain and sale deed, some unusual document that no one knows where it is. Now, all you have to do is download a mortgage statement. It's so much better. All you have to do is download a mortgage statement. That's it. You don't need this other stuff. You don't need the closing disclosure. You can have them. You don't need a deed of trust. You can have that too. The easiest way is just a mortgage statement. It has to be within 60 days of the credit application. That's very important. And it can't be delinquent. That's hopefully common sense, that we're not going to make loans to somebody who's already not paying their existing loans. Yeah, but great news. Mortgage statements, clear, title, STIPs. Huge. Probably not too many questions on that, but I'll just pause anyways and see.
I promise this is my last question.
No, it's
I
fine.
promise.
Keep coming. Keep them coming.
So I have a customer right now that I'm working on. The problem is the house is in a deed of trust.
Yeah.
Okay. The wife is in the trust, but she has bad credit. The husband has good credit, but he's not on the deed.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, you're in a tight spot there. Yeah, they need to be. I'm just admitting Alan here is joining a few times. Looks like they need to be on the. So basically, the trust is. Oh, I just thought there's a chat box. I didn't even see this before. Okay. The trust is essentially who's on title, and so the trust is on is who's on title, and the borrower needs to be on title, right? So they need to be on the trust. So somebody who has to. The person who's on the trust has to pass the FICO requirement. Yeah, unfortunately. So he can be added to the trust is probably the only way to do it, actually. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. That's a great question with a sad answer. All right, cool. Here's a big one. I really felt the pain right along with you. Maybe some of you guys didn't feel it. That's awesome. I hope you didn't. But if you've been with Sunlight for a while, it was a painful last 5 months with customer support. We were totally overloaded. We didn't have enough capacity. This has changed. So the stats on that is that it was really horrendous. The wait times on average were 30 minutes in May and early June. And then we just got the stats in that we were at 70 seconds this month so far. So we hired up, we made a huge push. It was really painful for us on the business development team. I'm responsible for business development, doing trainings like this, working with Jonathan, working with Mike on the executive level. So it was no fun for me to be a customer support rep for 4 months. That was really, so I felt the pain right along with you, was super motivated, and I'm very happy to now say, yes, I feel confident to refer you guys back to the Powur hotline, which I'll just bring up here on the screen, make sure everyone has this line, 866-425-3923. That's the Powur hotline, 7 days a week. The hours are right there. I wasn't even really sharing this number much for the last 4 or 5 months because of those wait times, but now the wait times have come down. I feel confident to share this number once again, which is great news. So if you went through some pain there, I apologize. I went through some pain too. And we have made the adjustments necessary that you guys can now get support. Right now we're averaging 70 seconds, 70 of hold time. So it's a lot better. Okay, so that's the support. Let's see. Let's get here into, just the classic underwriting criteria, just a good recap for everyone. Not much has changed here, but just good to remind. We go down to 600 FICO. This is something actually that we've seen competitively is shifting quite a bit. To Dana's point, hey, the environment is changing. Maybe people are going to be less credit worthy. You can either, as a lender, you can either raise your dealer fees, or you can restrict your buy box. That means approving fewer customers. Sunlight has not changed our buy box at all. A lot of reports that we're getting these days are we actually have the highest approval rate of any lender. For a while, it was GoodLeap. GoodLeap, word on the street, has been restricting that buy box a little bit. They're still at 640 FICO. We're at 600. And we've heard they're approving fewer than they were before. They took a pretty big bath on their last securitization from a margin standpoint. And we're seeing some movement there. So anyways, that's the word on the street, is Sunlight is having the highest approval rates. 150,000 max loan amount. Something I realized recently is that if you do the pre-qual, which we encourage everyone to do, the pre-qual will never show more than $100,000 approval. So do not let that discourage you if you've got an over $100,000 loan. The pre-qual is just not currently software developed to show over $100,000 approval. But we will go up to 150,000 if that customer is qualified. You just have to do the hard check. On that note, Sunlight will be doing soft check until install like Goodleap does sometime in Q4. So look for that. We're not currently doing that, but that's coming out in Q4. It's a pretty big deal. So I'll just pause here, let everyone soak this up. Main thing, 600 FICO, $150,000 max approval. If the person is, if they're retired, put their last employer. If they're self-employed, put the name of the business. That'll save you a lot of time and energy. So yeah, I'll pause here.
I'm breaking my promise, Danny. I'm breaking my promise. But there was one thing that I heard the gentleman that spoke to us at Powur World. There was a statement that he made that made me kind of think. He said that when a person does a pre-qual, it's a soft credit check, and it doesn't impact you as much as a hard credit check, which led me to think: is there an impact on a person's credit score? No impact.
No impact on the pre-qual ever. Correct.
Okay.
Great question. Yep. No impact ever on a pre-qual. That's correct. Okay. And then regarding the, we should be the same really as all the other lenders, but just a recap, we do all residential properties, including 1 to 4 unit multifamily residences. We do not do rental properties though. No rental properties. Each borrower can have up to 2 loans. So a borrower can have 2 loans. Husband, wife could hypothetically have 4 loans if each one of them did 2 loans each, right? So second homes, vacation homes, that's all fine. The borrower just has to live at the property for some part of the year for it to qualify. But basically all residential properties are fine. Has to be a residential meter, and trusts are fine as long as the borrower is a trustee. So I think that's the main. Condos are okay, but the homeowner has to own the roof. We're going to look for the CC&Rs. Mobile manufactured homes are okay if they have a solid foundation. That means sticks going into some kind of concrete foundation. So
hey Danny, quick question. This is Richard. Hey, on a second home compared to a rental home, what I guess just understanding what the difference is, because in the development I'm in, I got a lot of rental homes, but they're also second homes for people because they'll come part of the year.
Yeah, that's a great question.
So is it then considered a rental home or a second home? Because they do rent it while they're not here.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a gray area. And the way that I would talk about that is that there's really nothing on the application that, I just wouldn't volunteer the information that they rent it. As long as they're living there for part of the year, that should qualify as a second home, and just basically don't volunteer anything about rental income, renting, that shouldn't.
How much do you consider part of the year? Would a month, 2 weeks, 6 months, or is it a day, or is it what entitles it as part of the year?
Yeah, I mean, basically at the end of the day is if we call them and say, do you live in this property for part of the year, and they say yes, then we'll be okay.
Okay, because I got a neighbor next door that rents his house, but is only in his house 3 weeks out of the year.
Yeah, I mean that.
But he wants solar, and I won't. He won't back till November. So it was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a vacation, I mean, we call vacation homes are fine, right? So if we say, hey, is this your vacation home, and he says yes, then and we have that on our recorded line, we're fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks for the question. I'm just wanting to be cognizant that we are at the 7 p.m. Time. I'm happy to stick around for any other questions. I believe, I did get through all the information that I wanted to, but I can completely understand if there are additional questions. I'm also going to leave this slide up here. This is a helpful one for the price per watt stuff and what you can put in and what is within the 10%. So anything that's required for solar, roof work, main panel upgrade, batteries, tree trimming, electrical wiring, all that stuff. There's no percent cap to that. If it's not required for solar, but it is like energy efficiency related, you can put it in a loan, but it's capped at 10% of the loan amount. Okay. And everything has to fall within $8 a watt or $12.50. So I'll just pause there. And I think maybe what I'll just leave up there for just a reminder is, hey, you know, we will have the most competitive rates come August 15th. And there will, as far as I'm aware, should really, you know, we should be first look on every deal because lowest pricing plus rewards program, right? Black and white. So I'll pause there. Super. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Before Dana asks another question, I just wanted to make a quick point. So you showed the slide where it's the 18 months, right? The 18 months, but really important that first payment start date. Just because we want to make sure that we're setting proper expectations with homeowners, whether you're seasoned, whether you're you know, just becoming a tier 2 seller or whatever. That payment starts whether their system is on or not.
Correct.
So there may, it barely ever happens, but utilities being a punk with, like, I mean, I got a bunch of deals in San Diego Electric right now. That's kind of taken a while. I think SDG&E is kind of waiting to see what happens with the whole net metering thing. But yeah, if they take 90 days to PTO, your customer may have a payment to prior to them actually having the solar system turned on. So I just wanted to make that point real quick, that's a hard start date, guys. So make sure the customer is aware.
That's a great note, Anthony. And like I'm sure all of us are aware, it's all about the expectations that you set. And so setting these expectations up front saves you so much pain on the back end. You know, everything you can just build into your upfront framing and expectation setting for the customer, making it for a smooth experience, you know, basically getting to the objection before it's even an objection. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a quick question, or not a quick question, but a answer. Powur actually reimburses the customer if it's 60 days, if it's past 60 days. So outside, no matter who's financing it, Powur will reimburse them if it's over 60 days and before PTO.
Yeah. I've seen that happen a few times.
That's excellent news, Alan. And that's a great example of a time when setting an expectation can make such a big difference, right? So even, you know, pretend you're that customer of someone who that expectation was set, hey, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, you know, in a unusual scenario or however you guys want to frame it, there could be a situation where the installation or the PTO is delayed. In that, you will be made whole by Powur. We will cover any bills, you know, and so then they get that loan payment. They're not surprised. They know, oh, hey, Powur is going to cover this, as opposed to the customer who goes into that, sees a loan payment, freaks out. Powur still covers it, but they had that kind of freak out moment. Maybe that was a 3 or 4 day moment before they could get a hold of somebody. So like, you know, that's awesome intel. And that's just even better reason to set that expectation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was it. Well said.
How many points is that Polaris?
That's a good question. I've got to log in. I think last time I checked, I think it was let's see. I want to say around 1 million, but I could be wrong. I think it was like around 1 million.
Can you roll in Dana's points and Tim Powell's points into my account?
Yeah.
We can just start stacking.
Well, you don't have to tell them about the deal we made for how I could get into this training. You know, we say it's why I gave you some hats and stuff, but it's actually I gave you all your guys' points.
Everyone's points. Yeah.
You need Jonathan Panasso points for that.
Yeah, we need some Panasso points. Yeah. That's possible. You get to the platinum tier, whatever it is.
Oh, for sure. We've got so many Powur reps who have millions of points. That's really completely achievable. I mean, yeah, like you just said, I think that was Anthony, you know, if you get, and we have lots of platinum elite Powur reps, they're earning 50,000. All you have to, you know, 30 NTPs, that's just 5 deals a month, you know? So 5 deals a month, it's not a crazy amount. And then you're at 50,000. It only takes 20 deals to get to 1,000,000 points, you know, so pretty straightforward. I'm gonna try to find the presentation we did for you guys at Power World, because we had the number of points that some of these guys, I think this is it. Yeah, here we go. Here's some of the points that were. Yeah, so yeah, Bernasso's got 2.6, Cynthia's got 1.3, 1.7.
So he has 3
1.2.
Polarises just in the.
And I could be wrong. Like the Polaris might even just be like 500,000. You know, like I hear about these guys buying all kinds of crazy stuff all the time.
That's awesome. Awesome. And to confirm too, that's NTP. Is that's not system turning on. That's just customer signed
That's M0.
contracts. Yeah. Stips are in and they rent credit and they sign contracts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the stips are done. Yeah.
So yeah.
I think you guys, it's a clean deal. I think when you guys get your first commission is at M0, right? Yeah. So,
M1.
Okay. You guys call that M1.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. M1 then. M1 for us is install, but it sounds like M1 is not install for you.
Yeah. M1's our initial payment. M2 would be
install.
Yeah.
PTO, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep. And I see Bo had a question for the points to count. It can't be with the mentor deal. Is that correct? I want to say it's just however your email is attached to Sunlight. So meaning if you are the mentor on the deal, that means that your email is kind of being filtered through.
Yeah, that's correct. It's
license or whatever.
Yeah, you nailed it, Anthony. It's whoever's email is attached to that deal is the one getting it. So if you're the mentor on the deal, you're getting the points. Or if you sold the deal, you know, then you're getting whoever's email is the one it's going through is getting the points. Yeah.
So Dana, I just need to mentor your next Sunlight deals. All right. We'll get that Polaris. Drive it back and forth from our houses.